Torture in the Middle Ages was not just a thing of history books and Hollywood movies. It was a tool of control that played a significant role in medieval society. Now, if you've ever wondered what actually happened in those dark and creepy dungeons, well, today we are taking you on a journey back in time to uncover the gruesome truth. So buckle up because you are in for a wild ride. When we think of the Middle Ages, we imagine castles, knights, and maybe even dragons. But let's talk about something a little less fantastical: torture. Yep, we know it's not exactly what you were expecting to hear about, but trust us, it's going to be a wild ride. During the Middle Ages, confessions were everything. Without forensic science or lie detectors, authorities needed a good confession to solve crimes. The problem was getting people to confess, especially when they were innocent. Enter torture. It was a necessary evil to extract the truth. At least that's what they told themselves. Now here's the thing. We tend to think of torture as this cinematic experience, loud, dramatic, and full of suspense. But in reality, it was often much more mundane. Think about it. Most of the cool torture scenes you've seen in movies involve elaborate contraptions, right? Well, in reality, many of the tools used for torture were surprisingly simple and brutal. One of the most common was the thumbscrew, a simple metal device that literally twisted the screw in your finger or toe until you confessed. No fancy cinematic flair, just plain old pain. But it wasn't just about extracting confessions. Torture was also a way to keep people in line. Authorities wanted everyone to follow the rules, and they weren't afraid to use pain to motivate people. For example, if someone spread rumors or committed adultery, they might find themselves in the infamous pillory, a wooden device that locked their head and hands in place, essentially turning them into a human statue. And if that didn't work, there was always the breaking wheel, a large wooden wheel with spikes that would shatter your bones. Talk about a wake-up call. You might be wondering why the whole secrecy around torture. After all, if it was so common, why not broadcast it? Well, it's all about perception. The whole point of torture was to use pain and fear to control people. By keeping it secret, authorities could maintain the illusion of safety and order. However, there were instances where torture was public, almost like a spectacle to remind everyone of the consequences of wrongdoing. You see, during the Middle Ages, religion played a huge role in people's lives. And when the church was threatened, torture became a way to protect its power. Enter the heretic's fork, a metal rod with spikes that would pierce your skin whenever you moved. Imagine trying to sleep with that thing digging into your neck. It was a constant reminder of God's wrath and a warning to others not to stray from the path. It's not all doom and gloom though. Amidst all this darkness, there were glimmers of hope. Some rulers and religious figures spoke out against torture, arguing that it was not only cruel, but also ineffective. They believed the truth and justice were more important than pain and suffering. Though they were in the minority, their voices echoed through history, reminding us that torture was not inevitable. But let's be real, the Middle Ages were not exactly known for being super chill. There were plenty of people who thought that torture was just another Tuesday, and they had no problem using it to get what they wanted. Take, for example, King Henry VIII of England. Now, he wasn't exactly known for his chill vibes, and when he suspected someone of plotting against him, he had them tortured without hesitation. His motto, better safe than sorry. And then there was the Spanish Inquisition. This was a period in history when the Catholic Church was on the hunt for non-believers and heretics. And let's just say that they weren't big on second chances. If you were accused of heresy, you could expect some serious torture. We're talking about the kind of pain that would make you confess to anything. But sometimes torture was just a part of everyday life. For example, if you were accused of stealing something small, like a loaf of bread, you could find yourself in the pillory. Just because the crime was small didn't mean the punishment had to be childado. No. In medieval times, theft was considered a big deal, and you would be punished accordingly. And let's not forget about the dreaded Judas cradle. This was a wooden pyramid that ended in a sharp point, and let us just say that It wasn't used for picnics. It was used to inflict maximum pain and humiliation, and it didn't matter who you were. If you were accused of a crime, you could expect to feel the sharp sting of the Judas cradle. Okay, so now that we've established that medieval people were not exactly known for their chill vibes, let's take a closer look at some of the torture devices they used. First up, we have the rack. This was a wooden frame with rollers at each end, and it was used to stretch a person's body beyond their limits. The idea was that by pulling on the ropes attached to the wrists and ankles, the body would be elongated, causing excruciating pain. It was a slow and agonizing process and often resulted in broken bones, torn muscles and ligaments, and even death. But the worst part was that it wasn't just used on people accused of serious crimes. Sometimes it was used for minor offenses like stealing a chicken. Then we have the Iron Maiden. Now this one is straight out of a horror movie. It was a metal coffin lined with spikes, and it was designed to slice up a person's body as it was closed. Imagine being locked inside and then having the door slowly closed, slicing your body into pieces. It was supposedly used as a form of capital punishment, and it sounds absolutely terrifying. And let's not forget about the thumbscrew. This was a simple but effective way to extract confessions or punish people. A screw was placed between two boards with a handle on top. Then the thumbs or other body parts were placed on the screw, and the handle was turned, slowly tightening the screw and causing immense pain. People have been tortured to death with the thumbscrew, and it was used all over the world. Not just in medieval Europe, but not all torture devices were about pain. Some were designed to humiliate and break a person's spirit. Take, for example, the heretic's fork. This was a metal rod with spikes on the ends that was strapped to a person's head and chest. It was designed to keep a person from sleeping or resting their head, and it served as a constant reminder of their supposed sins. So there you have it, a glimpse into the dark world of medieval torture. From the rack to the Iron Maiden to the thumbscrew, there were all sorts of ways to make someone's life miserable back in the day. But remember, this was a time when confessions were everything and pain was the ultimate motivator. So next time you think about those medieval tortures, just remember it could have been a lot worse. You could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time and found yourself strapped to a rack or worse. Speaking of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, we also have a channel where we talk about all sorts of interesting topics. So go ahead and check that out too. But for now, it's time to wrap up this video. Thank you for joining us on this journey through medieval torture, and we'll see you next time.